In 1964, a young boxer shook the world when he claimed the heavyweight championship in Miami. Who knows who that was? Cassius Clay, then known as Muhammad Ali after. 50 years later, to date, we have a young man storming Borough Hall, making Brooklyn a better place to live. I welcome you to Borough President Eric Adams' first annual Black History Month celebration. So let's all give a warm welcome to Borough President Eric Adams.
Thank you. And I want to take a step back for a moment and just allow my colleague, Walter Mosley, the Assemblyman from the 57th Assembly District, to say a few words. Walter, please come up.
You know, the public advocate also didn't mention he has a saying. He likes to say he has 99 problems, but a borough president is not one. To quote another son of Brooklyn. But, you know, I'm just honored to be here because, you know, people always tell me, who makes up your district? And I say, you know what, I have some real great constituents. I have the borough president, who lives in the 57th. I got the congressman, Hakeem Jeffries, who lives in the 57th. I got the public advocate, who lives in the 57th. I got the district attorney, who lives in the 57th. I got the president of Mega Evans College, who lives in the 57th Assembly District. And although we're not in the 57th Assembly District, all due respect to my colleague and dear friend, Joan Millman, I'm just honored to be like the political young baby brother that they've been able to steer along the way. And like so many young black men, you know, we need to have examples like an Eric Adams, like a Tish James, like a Hakeem Jeffries, like a Ken Thompson, because through their examples, I'm able to take a little bit from them. And I think that's what we do with our black history. You take a little bit from this person and that person and this person and that person, because black history is American history. And American history is black history. And we don't ever want to forget that. So we understand that as we leave February and enter Women's History Month in March, we also want to highlight women who have served the test of time, who raised this man, to be husbands and fathers and sons. So I'm here proudly representing this district and more proudly to say I represent some great people, some great men and women who are serving this city and this state and this country. So I thank you again for showing the support to my brother in politics, but more importantly, to my brother in the streets, my brother from Brooklyn, our own Borough President Eric Adams. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
You know, I think it's only fitting that, you know, when you heard the song, Lift Every Voice and Sing, and I talk about this often because I wanted to resonate throughout the entire borough, in the borough of Brooklyn, to lead the way. I come from the spirit of James Weldon Johnson, who wrote that song. And if you look at the song closely, I don't think many of us do, nowhere in the lyrics does it say black or white. When he talks about lift every voice and sing, he's saying that in a very colorblind fashion, because this month has allowed me to evolve to a level to appreciate not only black history, but humankind. And we're members of the greatest race alive, and that's the human race. And if you allow yourselves, of all groups, to step out of your own pain, you can reflect on the pain of so many. the early Irish who came here and had signs that they faced that say no dogs or Irish allowed. Early Jews who still had the stench of burnt flesh from Nazi Germany in their nostrils. They had to eke out a way here in this place we call America. Early Caribbeans leaving family members at home so they can come to America and be a part of the American dreams. And African Americans that picked cotton and couldn't wear the clothing that the cotton was picked from. Early and even today, Muslim Americans, because they wear a hijab or they wear kufi or sit in a mosque, they're treated in a way that's disrespectful, that they can't even worship without freedom of being some form of harassment. And our early Hispanic brothers and sisters from all parts of South and Central America and what they had to go through trying to navigate government without being able to speak English. Under the fingernails of every ethnic group, you see the dirt and grime of climbing up the mountain of hope and possibility, one hand at a time. We are all in this together, and that's what we talk about when we say One Brooklyn. We don't want to be in first place. We want to unify the borough from every area of this borough, that we're all in this together, and Brooklyn can do something that no other borough can do. 47% of Brooklynites speak a language other than English at home. If the welcome mat at Borough Hall is not written in all of those languages, then I failed. My legacy is not what it ought to be, and I'm not going to do that as the borough president of the Borough of Brooklyn. We're going to make it right in Brooklyn so it can be right in the city. So I said this at my inauguration, and I'm going to say it over and over again. We need you to join Team Brooklyn. We want to build this army of volunteers, army of forward-thinking Brooklynites, people who understand that no matter how difficult and challenges our days may be, there are countless number of people who are going through harder times, that the popularity of this brand has not turned into prosperity for them. Everyone must benefit of the rise of Brooklyn, every neighborhood. And then we need to move out those who are not going to have the same voice of inclusion that we all agree on and all participate in and all want to be a part of. So my staff is here. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to be a part of this. And as you heard, we have members of other countries here. UN may have the building in Manhattan, but the diversity of countries are in Brooklyn. This will be an international borough. We're going to invite countries to come to Brooklyn and use technology like Skype and other mechanisms so children in classrooms in public schools in Brownsville can communicate with children in Budapest and in Belgium. We want global-minded children that don't believe that they're MetroCard leaders, they're passport leaders. They're going to conquer the globe, and they're going to start here in the borough of Brooklyn. That's what we are about. So we pause here today on the end of February to honor those men and women who personify that energy. And we're going to talk about them all, but one person I want to point out in particular, the president of Mega Evans College, Rudy Crew. What Dr. Crew is about to do in Brooklyn, by creating pathways for young people to start out in the public school system and make their way through to college, and team up with people like David Banks, who's one of the co-chairs of my educational task force that we put together. The visionaries of education, of individuals who understand the power lies in our children, knowing that they can compete on a global scale. And so we're happy that he's here at Mega Evans College in Brooklyn, in Central Brooklyn, to educate these young people so that they can understand we have our own version of Harvard and Yale right on Bedford Avenue. We just got to turn it into the quality that they deserve. So I want you to sit back as we honor these great people. And let me tell you beforehand, there's a reason that home field advantage is a good place. My home is down the block. So we have a few kinks here because I'm not on home field. But we're here in the spirit of honoring these great people who have done great things in this city and in this borough. And this is just our way of pausing for a moment and saying thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for how you make this a better place for all of us. And many of you go unnoticed. You do the job every day without anyone questioning you. You rise every morning and every evening to finish the task at hand. And we appreciate you. And this is our way of saying thank you in our small token way of just saying how much we appreciate you. So I want to go through our citation. We want to look at our three honorees. I think it's our three honorees first, right? Our three hosts. And you know who just joined me, right? My partner, Diana Rayner, my deputy borough president. I'm so used to saying chief of staff. Please get Diana a hand. Chief Nelson, her husband and I were cops together. Now I have a new partner. walking the beat of Brooklyn. So we want to do a few thank yous to our sponsors, Diageo, one of our sponsors, MetroPlus. You can give them a hand. Kristen, Cultural Center, Performing Arts Ministry, Sugar Hill Restaurant, and of course I'm going to acknowledge them later also, and my staff, Lori Lewis, who's here. Lori Lewis, her husband and I were also cops, so you know I like a lot of cops around me, the wives. You know, thank you, Lori. And we just want to give out just a proclamation, Diane. We want to just start with three of our presenters of this great endeavor of pursuit to freedom, Wheatsville Heritage Center, Timothy Simmons, chairman of the board. Is Timothy here? Thank you so much, Timothy, for what you're doing. This presentation, if you haven't seen it yet, please, on your way out, stop and take a look at this great presentation that is here at the Heritage Society. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on, Diane, give me a picture. Hold on, we want to get all three of you together. No problem. And Brooklyn Historical Society, I believe we have Jacqueline Charity that's here, trustee. Hold on, we're going to get everybody together. And Irondale and Symbol Project, Terry Grease is here. Very much. Please give them a hand. Yes.
Just please this.
Okay. Just joined by Councilwoman Darlene Mailey and my favorite senator, Senator Velman at Montgomery. And we're going to read the citation, and then we want to call up each honoree. Whereas Brooklyn is home to the largest population of African Americans of any country that is not a city in the United States, and is a time-honored Brooklyn tradition to acknowledge the enormous contributions made by our rich and varied communities in the economic, cultural, and social life of our borough, city, state, and country. Therefore, it is only fitting that we pause to reflect during the nationwide observance of Black History Month on the profound influence people of color have had and continue to have on the progress of our nation. And whereas all of Brooklyn gathers together at Borough Hall at this celebration of Black History Month to recognize and pay tribute to these great borough's many outstanding Black pioneers and leaders, including the esteemed Cheryl Hall. And whereas, on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute and commend Cheryl Hall, whose unwavering passion, commitment, and drive truly honors the legacy of African Americans in our borough. I congratulate her as she is most justifiably honored by her peers and family and friends, and I thank her for all that she does to help our community move forward as one Brooklyn. And now, therefore, I, Eric Adams, President of the Borough of Brooklyn, do hereby confer this citation on Ms. Cheryl Hall. Cheryl, come up, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Reina, and I'm the Deputy Borough President, walking the beat with our Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams, our first African American in Brooklyn, elected to represent Brooklynites. This is a wonderful occasion, and it's a wonderful and distinguished pleasure to be here with you all. Our next honoree, I'd like to call up LaTanya Williams. LaTanya, if you can come on up. Whereas, on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute and commend LaTanya Williams, whose unwavering passion, commitment, and drive truly honors the legacy of African Americans in our borough. I congratulate her as she is most justifiably honored by her peers, and I thank her for all that she does to help our community move forward as one Brooklyn. On behalf of our Borough President, Eric Adams.
Professor Stewart, how are you, sir? Come on up. Over 40 years of active involvement in economic development in Brooklyn and New York State. A delegate to the President Jimmy Carter's White House on Conference on Small Business. Founding member of the Board of Directors of Commerce, Labor, and County of Kings Corporation that converted the Brooklyn Navy Yard into an industrial park, and some great things are happening there. I believe I saw Ms. Rainey here in the audience also, doing some great hiring there. Founding member of the Caribbean Action Lobby and its New York State chairperson. We really appreciate you, Dr. Stewart. This is an easy one because this is Chief Nelson, you know, the chief of Brooklyn North. Come on up, Chief. 43 years of service to the New York City Police Department. Currently responsible for all police precincts and departments within the northern section of Brooklyn, also known as the Hood, right? Past president of the New York Chapter, the National Organization of Black and Law Enforcement Executives, current regional vice president of the same organization for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut chapters. Chief has been a mainstay and just a solid police administrator, one of the few chiefs of color in the New York City Police Department, and we appreciate you for your years of service, Chief. Thank you very much.
Our next honoree is Sharonda Bossier, Families for Excellent Schools, an organization that supports parents in organizing to demand and support education reform. Spent 5 years as a public high school teacher, including 2 years at the Urban Assembly School for Law and Justice in District 13 in Brooklyn. Serves as a first-generation initiative mentor with Achievement First Public Charter Schools in Brooklyn. Neighborhood track team leader with Girl Track, a national nonprofit that aims to promote a healthy and active lifestyle among Black women. Girl power, come on up here. Sharonda.
Tyron Anthony. Come on up, Tyron. Founder of BIG, the Business Improvement Group, uses social media and retail flash mobs to help boost small businesses in his community. Second Vice Chair of Economic Development for Community Board 3 in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Chair of Economic Empowerment for NAACP Brooklyn Branch. And he's a real estate developer, and he has a great organization called 500 Men. And they take real on-the-ground projects that are just helping everyday mentoring programs. We're going to do some good stuff together in the borough of Brooklyn. Thank you, Tyron.
Give him some love. Give him some love. Our next honoree, Beatrice Beckford, Grassroots Action Network at Why Hunger, collaborating with U.S.-based grassroots partners and allies to organize for food justice, creating a movement for change in our food systems, bringing healthy food access to low-income communities and residents of color, developed parent empowerment workshops about New York City school food and how parents can make improvements in their child's food at school and at home. That's empowering families. Congratulations, Ms. Beckford.
Yanette Fleming. I feel like longtime food educator, community educator, and organizer, committed to advancing systems of knowledge which build healthy individuals, families, and communities, provides solution to the issue of food insecurity, health disparities, and social inequities. Organized to grow food and advance community resilience for Central Brooklyn residents since 2003 at the Hattie Carthen Community Food Projects. We thank you so much. Congratulations to you.
Our next honoree, Rashad Mead, tireless educator and advocate for New York City's most ill-served population, young men of color. Previously resident principal at the Eagle Academy for Young Men in the Bronx, member of the founding team of educators who wrote the proposal for the Eagle Academy for Young Men at Ocean Hill in Brooklyn, New York, opened in 2008. They are making leaps and bounds with educating our young men of color. And I want to personally congratulate Mr. Mead, because it is incredible when most people say we can't, he's saying he can.
Ms. Ryla Cruz. Over 25 years operating with individuals with mental health conditions in New York State, provides housing and employment assistance to African Americans and other ethnic groups, administrative oversight to community-based agencies to ensure quality care for individuals with disability. I saw some of our friends here around mental disabilities, and this is a big issue for us, ensuring we give proper care and services to those with mental disabilities and family members. We often sometimes forget the family members, and it's a big push we want to do. I see Lucinda Clark is here that has a great organization about the caregivers. So I really thank you for what you have done throughout the years around this issue. Please give her a hand.
Our next group of honorees will begin with Dr. Monica Sweeney, Assistant Professor. Yes, please. Assistant Professor at SUNY Downstate School of Public Health. This is the best part. Sophie Davis School of Biomedical Education at CUNY, City University of New York. State University of New York Health Science Center. And for most of you who don't know, Sophie Davis School will prepare your child from as early as graduating high school into a pre-med program. That is the power of information. Knowing this woman can open roads for our kids interested in the field of medicine. Community activist and proponent for health and health education, especially as it affects Black women. I'd like you to give a round of applause to Dr. Monica Sweeney.
I said that I have to be the one to introduce this person. He's just a pioneer, and as my son would say, the real deal. Dr. Lester Young. Before we believed we could, he said we could. What he has done around education and just paved the way for so many scholars. Year after year, he just produced so many. We appreciate you, Dr. Young. Educator, teacher, guidance counselor, supervisor of special education, elementary school principal, and associate commissioner with the New York State Education Department. Former community superintendent of District 13 when superintendents had real power before Bloomberg took it away and destroyed our system. Director of the first New York City Office of Youth Development and School Community Services, appointed by the New York State Legislature as Regent at Large for the University of the State of New York, Dr. Lester Young. Thank you, Dr. Young.
Our next honoree, Stephen Johnson, attending the City University of New York Medgar Evers College, pursuing bachelor's of, go ahead, Dr. Crew, give it some love. Pursuing Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Studies, member of Redemption, Inc., Youth Education and Community Empowerment, not-for-profit organization whose goals are to reclaim, rebuild, and redirect. Partnered with peers and collaborated with Councilman Jumaane Williams to address violence and other issues facing young people in our communities. This is a man of action. This is our legacy, our youth. Mr. Stephen Johnson, where are you? There, look at that face.
Got that Billy D. Williams ball. Judith Valor-Royal. Did I say that right, Judith? Judith is here? Okay. Okay, come on, Judith. Rejuvenating the older adult population through inspirational programming such as yoga, computer classes, and annual choreographed variety shows. 23 years with New York Telephone Company, design and construction for building contracts, awarded the Minority Management Association Women of the Year 1989-1990. Please give her a hand.
Our next honoree, Willie Mae Maxwell. Where are you, Willie Mae? Look at that. Coming down, I was going to say running down the runway. She's strolling down the runway, as she should be. She's a New York City housing worker for 28 years. She's a volunteer at Atlantic Terminal Community Center and working at Senior Citizen Center for past 5 years. She's a senior volunteer, and when we talk about our brain thrust in Brooklyn, it's when we have our most precious treasures during their senior age, still active, making sure they continue to contribute. And when we link them up with our youth, their wisdom empowers our youth. And so thank you, Willie Mae, for always giving back to Brooklyn. Our next honoree is Jean Alerte. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Yes? The E is silent? Fantastic. My St. Joseph High School teachers are here, so I don't want to disappoint. Brand builder, consultant to businesses and industry professionals. Author of Do Right, Do Good, an easy-to-use guide book towards vision, fulfillment, and entrepreneurship. Executive Director, Unity in the Community Foundation, providing scholarships and personal development classes to hundreds in Brooklyn. In 2012, with his wife, opened Brooklyn Swirl, frozen yogurt shop in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Let's give a nice round of applause to our author, our entrepreneur, Jean.
Our next honoree is Curtis Nelson. Curtis? Okay, come on up. Established one of the most successful beacon programs in the city. Technical and management skills, bringing contracts to the Sesame Flyers, the largest Caribbean American organization contracted with the city of New York. Looking forward to expanding Sesame Flyers as a cultural institution, developing and strengthening local and international partnerships with corporations and other institutions. Great steel band. When our children have a steel band in their hand, they won't have a steel gun in their hand. We need to empower programs like this, and we appreciate you, what you're doing.
I'd like to call up Marvin Holland. Oh yeah. Represents the largest transport union in the country. 38,000 members employed by MTA, New York City Transit Authority, and private bus companies in Queens and Westchester. Advances legislation to improve safety, security, and overall working conditions for transit workers. Founder of the Transit Forward Coalition, the only alliance of transit riders and workers in New York State. Thank you for your years of service and for advancing the safety of our workers, keeping New York transport.
Now, great president of the great school, Medgar Evers, was here as a chancellor, had the vision. Unfortunately, Mayor Giuliani was blind, and so you had to give him sight. Welcome back to the Borough of Brooklyn, president of Medgar Evers College, Dr. Rudy Cruz.
We're halfway there, ladies and gentlemen. This is a powerhouse. We'd like to call up Renee Juice Flowers, Community Leader, Director, Gowanus Wildcats Drill Team. Let's give her a nice round of applause. A member and leader of the Gowanus Wildcats Drill Team for 44 years. All girls drill team, which has performed throughout New York City. Community involvement in the Gowanus Houses Tenants Association, Explorer Venturer Crew 588 of the Boy Scouts of America, Community Board 6, choreographer, poet, songwriter, singer, and rapper, mentor to young women whose lives she has touched. Girl power in the house. I cannot tell you how it's music to our ears. We're challenged with next month's Women's History Month, but I think we've already started. Congratulations.
Hold on, wait a minute. 'Cause we have manpower in the house, too. Because Reg Flowers, her husband, is here. You know? Oh, y'all not married? Oh, come on. Come on now. Well, now y'all know each other. They're going to marry with ideas. Yes. Reg Flowers, founder of Falconry Artists Group, a not-for-profit 501c3 that uses popular theater techniques to build capacity for civic engagement and social change. Producer and produced playwright on and off Broadway and across the U.S. Guest starring in TV appearances, director in New York City, and in the Freedom Theater in Philadelphia. Thank you, Reg. Come on, we'll take it together anyway.
Our next honoree is Tracy Cook Person, community collaborator, creating links between public schools, parents, community, and cultural centers. Curriculum development for teen innovators, Brooklyn Navy Yard's after-school leadership program, and In Pursuit of Freedom for the Brooklyn Historical Society. That's going to be your treat today. Brooklyn Summer Shakespeareans, literacy and theater production program for high school students of color. And when you think we're not exposing our children, you just have to meet Tracy. because Tracy's doing it all for our students to understand globally what arts and culture is all about. Thank you, Tracy, for all of your work in making sure that we have a beautiful generation to come.
Okay. All right. Now, hold on, Tracy. I got it right this time. Her husband. Darren Percy. Come on up, Darren. New York City Department of Education, Office of Art and Special Projects to formulate the Arts Archive Assessment for Theater, Harlem School of the Arts, Irondale Assembly, the Heights Players Theater, Interborough Repertory Theaters Assembly, Certified Cinematographer, Brooklyn Summer Shakespeareans, Literacy and Theater Production Program for high school students in color. It's all about the arts, folks. Got to bring art back into our schools and back into our lives. Thank you so much.
I'd like to call up June Solomon. June is the Deputy Director of Family Support, DD Services and Psych, Inc., Health Advocate. Collaborated with ACS to find resources for African American mothers in Brooklyn whose children are in foster care. Wrote proposals for housing subsidies to bring families a better quality of life. Created organization of African American women based on an anonymous fellowship that deals with weight loss education and support for health and better quality of life. This is a woman who's speaking on behalf of the voiceless, the forgotten, and we want to thank her for all of her endeavors. Thank you, June.
Carolyn Dersica Hines. One of the most important areas to be involved in preventing sex abuse, and she's at the sex abuse unit at the Jane Barker Brooklyn Child Advocacy Center. Investigate child abuse and neglect in African American communities in Brooklyn. Ensure child safety in their home environments by engaging in families and the appropriate services needed. Nothing is more traumatizing than having a family member undergo some type of abuse. We appreciate you and appreciate what you're doing to save our children. Thank you very much. Please give her a hand. Milton Perrier, where's Milton? Come on up, Milton. Give him a hand. One of the founders of Brooklyn Greenway Initiative, a nonprofit formed in 2004 to bring about the creation and maintenance of the 14-mile Brooklyn Waterfront Greenway. BGI also seeks to restore environmental services to the waterfront edge of Brooklyn, including green infrastructure and restoration of native plant communities, to bring healthy, active recreation within walking distance to hundreds of thousands of Brooklynites, and to provide a non-motorized transportation option that connects Brooklyn waterfront communities. Project manager for the creation of Mill River Park and Greenway in Stamford, Connecticut. He's making Brooklyn a beautiful place, one green pasture at a time. Thank you, Milton. Honorees, please let's give them all a hand. And we just want to hear from our sponsors. We have a rep from Diageo. Can you please come up at this time? Give her a hand.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing? That's good. Thank you, Mr. Adams. I'm so honored to be here. This is such a pleasant event to be at. I'm not originally from New York or from Brooklyn, but I actually have family that lives and resides in Flatbush. And to see so many great young people, senior people, it just makes me feel so proud that I'm being able to be a part of this kind of event. It's truly amazing. I actually am the co-chair in Diageo for our African Heritage employees. It's an employee resource group where we do a lot of things within our community. And one of the things that stood out to me with the mission statement of the Brooklyn Borough was that you guys do things to be relevant, to be tangible, and to encourage the culture of the community. And that's exactly what we do within the African Heritage employees at Diageo. So I'm really, really grateful to be here at this event today. And I'd like to bring up my colleagues, Leslie and Mauricio, to present a check to Mr. Adams.
I like Rachel.
And there's more to come.
Yeah, move over just a little bit, we can get the podium in. Okay. What's that, 300,000? Thank you.
One day.
Kneel up right here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Another one of our sponsors with MetroPlus, Gail Smith. Come on up, Gail. Give her a hand.
Our check's in the mail. No, seriously. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, Deputy Borough President Diana Reyna, elected officials, distinguished guests, honorees, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It is a pleasure to once again collaborate with the Brooklyn Borough President's Office for the 11th consecutive year, but it's the first year with our new Borough President in commemoration of Black History Month. My name is Gail Smith. I am the Chief Customer Officer of MetroPlus Health Plan, a wholly owned subsidiary of the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, also known as HHC. We provide health care coverage to over 430,000 members enrolled in Medicaid managed care, Child Health Plus, HIV special needs plans, Medicare, managed long-term care, and as of January 1, 2014, by way of the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, through the New York State of Health Exchange. Each year during the month of February, we reflect, acknowledge, and give thanks to those of African descent who contributed and played a role in making positive change. This year, we are paying tribute at the Brooklyn Hisorical Society in honor of the Weeksville Heritage Center and in partnership with the Irondale Ensemble Projects and BHS's exhibition appropriately titled Brooklyn Abolitionists in Pursuit
of freedom. This is a tribute to the unsung heroes of Brooklyn's anti-slavery movement. Each year, when I am given the opportunity to speak during Brooklyn History Month, I also give tribute to my unsung shero, Lillian McCrae Jackson, my beloved grandmother, affectionately called Mother. After a brief illness, Mother passed away on November 20th of last year at the age of 96. This will be my first year in giving homage to my grandmother without her having knowledge of same. You see, she was not only my grandmother, but also my mother. She helped raise me, and without her wisdom, guidance, strength, and support, I would not be here speaking today. She taught me the importance of education, to be proud of your heritage and from whence you came, to treat everyone with dignity and respect, and to be all that you can be. Born in Raleigh, Florida in 1916, and by the way, she did pick cotton, Mother did not have a formal education. Yet through her strength and perseverance, she worked hard, raised 4 children on her own, 5 including me, learned how to read, and eventually left Lakeland, Florida in pursuit of a better living. In the early 1950s, my grandmother migrated to Brooklyn, New York, where she worked as a domestic until she retired. Lillian McCrae Jackson was a classy, proud, feisty, opinionated, and loving matriarch until her last breath on the fateful evening of November 20th, 2013, a month shy of her 97th birthday. She was loved and respected by all who knew her. In closing, this is to you, Mother, my unsung shero. Not only during Black History Month, but each and every day of my life. You will forever be in my heart. Thank you for allowing me to be in your life. I love you.
Yes, you can.
And the check is in the mail.
Thank you so much. Just want to again recognize Judge Radix, who's here with us as well, Judge Sylvia Hines Radix. My good friend, newly elected Councilwoman Inez Barron. And speaking of great things in the future around civil rights, the chair of the Civil Rights Committee, City Councilwoman Darlene Milley. As we close, we have refreshments over at Borough Hall, and we want to close the way we started with song, but I also want you all to do one thing for me. I want you just to take a moment and just reflect on someone that paved the way for you, that was part of your history. Oftentimes in our fast-paced movement, we forget those individuals. And if we could just take a moment and just say the name of the person who touched your life in a very real way, who made it possible for you, who endured those difficult moments, and who never stopped praying. And although they're not here in the physical, they're among us in the spiritual, and they will always be our guiding light and our angel. And so just say the name right where you are. Who's the person you're thinking of? Grandma Adams. I thank you. We want to bring in the choir and end in song as we started, and then we're going to take a nice stroll across the street to the home of your Brooklyn Borough President to get some grub.